Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, back with another crypto video. And today I want to talk with you guys about Ripple XRP versus Stellar XLM. I took aid of a lot of different articles here, trying to give you guys the best verdict of which coin you should pick when. And also guys, in this video we're going to be covering some major Stellar XLM breaking news, and then ending it off with why Vechain is so huge, talking about its insane partnerships. So guys, I also want to give away $50 worth of crypto if we can hit 250 likes on this video within 24 hours. Make sure you just quickly press the like button on this video, comment something down below, and have the notification bell on. That's how you enter into the giveaway, and that's how you also help out the channel. Now guys, first of all here, there's no one answer, right? Because I can explain to you guys, there's good parts about XRP, there's good parts about XLM, there's bad parts to them both. But in the end, it's always a matter of opinion. This video is not financial advice, and I'm not sponsored by Ripple or Stellar at all. This is purely for my own and for your entertainment, and because I think, I should be covering more of these things. Kind of the questions that people have been having every single day. I should be addressing them because, again, that's what you're kind of watching this channel for. So let me start off here with giving some good parts about both of these cryptocurrencies. For XRP, I would say the best part of the coin is its community. You would have probably expected me to say the use case or the foundation, which I call Ripple there, but no, I think the community is actually the best part of XRP. For example, we have the XRP tip bot. That is just one out of the many perks that the community brings for XRP. XRP's community is definitely one of the greatest ones I've ever seen in terms of size, but also in terms of engagement. If you have a question, it will most likely not take longer than 5 minutes for somebody in the community to answer that question with a pretty detailed and pretty clear answer. Otherwise, you can even have the founder of Ripple, the CTO, I should say CTO, founder most likely not, but CTO of Ripple, who possibly, again, kind of take this with a grain of salt, but possibly could be Satoshi. You never know. David Schwartz, the GOAT of crypto, the most known man out of the whole world, I find. Have you answered your own question? That's really quite insane, at least in my opinion. That's just really quite amazing. So that's just one perk. The community is just insanely good. Also, there's a lot of community initiatives, or initiatives, I think I should say, where, for example, the tip bot was created. There's also different projects that are being created. There's also kind of a list, or I guess a couple of lists going around of all the members, and everybody's really committing to XRP on a daily basis, and this and that and this and that. But it's always kind of fun to take part in, and there's competitions where people give away money if you do something with XRP. There's a lot of t-shirts with the coin, yada yada yada. You just have a lot of those perks, but I definitely think the XRP tip out there takes the highest peak in community effort, but in the end, community is definitely great. Second of all, why I think XRP is definitely quite good is, of course, because of its speed, of course, efficiency, yada, yada, yada. But XLM has all of that. No, I'm talking about the foundation. And when I'm talking about foundation, I mean Ripple. Not technology-wise, because, of course, they have both of the same creator, XLM and XRP, both Jet McCaleb. But I'm talking about Ripple. Now, when we're talking about use case, right, in cryptocurrency, I think one of the first thing that comes to mind is, of course, going to be through XRP. Why is that? Because Ripple created Ripple Net. Again, I'm kind of keeping it broad here because I don't want to get too deep into everything. Otherwise, I will be here for 40 minutes or maybe even an hour or two. But Ripple Net, in this case, XRapid, right? On-demand liquidity is what we call it officially. On-demand liquidity, or XRapid here, actually provides a lot of these real banks, real financial institutions with literal on-demand liquidity through a cryptocurrency. What other currency does that? Or what other project could come close to this? Nobody, nothing, and they're really taking the cake on that one. That's again another perk of XRP, that they have some crazy use cases. Also, one thing I should be mentioning, of course, is that Ripple, a company that's above XRP, holds a majority of XRP, and what they spend it on every single month is to increase the XRP ecosystem, or to kind of better the XRP ecosystem. One of their initiatives is through Spring, which is Xpring, is how you spell that. And what they actually do is they fund XRP related projects. So they fund developers to make things for the XRP ecosystem, which again, in turn, helps the coin out, helps you out, which is pretty amazing. All right, so those are the two, I would say, main things that really appeal to me for XRP. For XLM, I would say that it is because it's kind of the little brother of XRP. it was created later by the same founder, and some might say that it's a better version of XRP. Why is that? Because as I said before, it was created after XRP. Same creator, and the creator, Jim McCallum, took the kind of the idea of what he had with Ripple and XRP, and he bettered it because, of course, he had a lot more knowledge. He knew what he was doing, and he definitely knew what he wanted as well. That's why some people are calling XLM a better version. In terms of speed or anything like that, I would not compare these two, as they're just insanely good, and you're not going to notice any single difference in terms of sending money around. What I think one of the differences is oh wait, we're going to get into that in a second here. What I also should think that is a better part for XLM is that they have some closer bonds with IBM. I mean, Ripple and XRP have some close bonds to IBM, but with Stellar, they actually built WorldWire on Stellar platform, which is definitely a huge step and also definitely something to brag about for Stellar. Even though it doesn't necessarily use XLM, it is quite a big thing to have for themselves. And in the end, it all is not that much of a difference which of these coins you're using if you want to send money around. So I keep coming back to that because it's just something that's on my mind here. Because people ask me, I want to send money to my family in India. Which coin should I use? I'm like, it doesn't really matter. It's both going to be quick. It's both going to be really, really, really freaking cheap. Doesn't matter. All right, so let me quickly explain some of the kind of differences and some of the kind of similarities. Now, one thing I should, of course, that I just mentioned like 10 different times, that doesn't matter if you use XLM or XRP because they're mostly as fast. They mostly do the same thing, but their focus of these coins is relatively different. So with Ripple through XRP, it's mostly looking for B2B, business to business, or bank to bank, how you would like to view it. And with Stellar, it is more P2P or peer to peer, or consumer to consumer. It's also how you could say that. So with XRP, it's kind of, these bigger banks, these bigger financial institutions trying to transact with each other or with themselves by sending money around the world really quickly and everything. And with Stellar and XLM, or through XLM, the focus is more to make payments easy for everybody around the world and to make it easy for you to send money to your friend and things like that. So I have a lot of articles open here, maybe 20, that are all comparing XLM to XRP, but in the end, none of them can actually have a real verdict, right? Because there is no better coin in the end. They all just have good parts, they all have bad parts, and we can get into deflationary versus inflationary as well. Let's actually quickly check through this article, as this is one of the better ones that I have open. I want to quickly show you guys what I have. Master the crypto here, Ripple versus Stellar, XLM or XRP, which is better. Again, it talks about a little bit of why these coins are good and what, right? You can see here how quickly XRP actually is. 3.3 seconds for a transaction, no money at all for sending something, and insanely fast, or at least you can do a lot of transactions every second. This is just for XRP here. Just a little bit of an explanation why it's so good. And then it goes to Stellar. Again, unrivaled speed. It's exactly the same thing. 3 seconds, it's all the same thing. No cost at all, not even a cent it's going to cost you. For every 600,000 transactions, there will be a fee of 1 cent. So again, you can see how many transactions you could do before you spend $1. You can last a whole lifetime with $1. Unrivaled tech, smart contract and ICO capabilities, which are already in use. I think this is also one of the perks for Stellar, right? ICOs are a lot more, or I guess smart contracts and ICOs and all those things, dApps, are a lot more common for Stellar and also a lot more accepted than on XRP. Functional, integratable, and available right now. And unrivaled growth. If you spend $1 on Lumens in January 2017, today you would have $2,500. That's also pretty cool. So yeah, pretty good comparison here. And there's so much to talk about, guys. That's why I said you can talk about this for hours. But in the end, it all comes down. Oh wait, they said here, in the end, it could come down to an all-out winner, or even more likely that both tokens continue to exist alongside one another and continue to work towards developing financial platforms the world over. Why they're saying this is because which coin you should invest in, they can't tell you, right? But is there going to be one coin that's going to win in the end is a question that a lot of people are asking. I personally do not have an answer to that question. And as you will see in a lot of these articles, some might edge towards Ripple. I've seen most of them do that. Or they're in the middle saying both of these coins could win, both of these coins can coexist, so there's nothing going on. Well, let's quickly check this out, guys. Are both necessary? Similarities and differences. I know it's a little bit of a stretch, guys. We're doing quite a long video, but it's quite an important topic, and I don't cover this stuff every single day. The lengthy list of similarities would, of course, make you believe like there's no need for both, but we already have both. So they have private nodes without mining allowed. They rely on distributed ledger technology and deliver almost free and almost instant transactions, making them ideal for international payments and transfers. Despite those similarities, though, there are a couple of differences that you need to account for. The biggest difference are the target audiences and the goals behind the blockchains. As mentioned, Ripple's creation occurred specifically to appeal to banks, a huge market with a great deal of potential for profit. By contrast, Stellar's creation was to extend the reach of financial services around the globe, helping the unbanked. Again, I see this a little bit differently because I see this as they're trying to help person-to-person transfers. They're trying to help people more so than the financial system / banks, even though, of course, both are helping financial systems. In fact, Stellar refers to itself as not-for-profit or non-profit because its goal is helping people rather than making money. This is also one of the facts I actually forgot to mention because Stellar has kind of a pro/con in one because they focus on spreading their currency around. They would more so like to get people to use their coin than having a high price. You can see that through the big, huge airdrops that they're doing, where airdrop kind of means free money they give away. Where they also stated officially on Twitter, I believe, we care more about kind of spreading than the price of the coin, which is something you can see as a bad thing because if you're a holder, your price is going to go down because some people sell. But you can see it as a good thing because, again, they're not doing it for profit in that sense, right? Or maybe longer term profit, which sometimes also is good. The two also use different consensus algorithms, with the unique consensus protocol for Stellar and proof of correctness for Ripple. Furthermore, Lumens coins are inflationary, while XRPs are deflationary, meaning they increase and decrease circulation, respectively. Finally, Ripple is more centralized than Stellar, although both are much more decentralized than traditional currencies. So this is also a little bit of opinion, as this is not something that everybody will agree with, right? Centralization in digital assets is always a little bit of opinion as well, as there are different nodes, or even with proof of work, any consensus algorithm, you can kind of see some loopholes through, because if somebody, right, owns kind of, let's say for a fact, or for example, you have like, let's say, right, this is not exactly what happens, but this is just to give you guys an example of how you should be viewing this. Let's say, for example, to validate a XRP transaction, there's 10 different nodes, right? For example, there's 10 different players in the world that have to agree with this transaction. In theory, that sounds quite decentralized, right? Because there's 10 different parties around the world that have to agree before it works. Or at least, let's say 51% or more, but in this case, let's say all 10 have to agree. Well, in theory, that is very much decentralized, unless all those 10 different places around the world were actually one person deciding everything, right? Or for example, all those 10 are working together with the same company and things like that. And that's also why Bitcoin is to some people very decentralized, because again, they're all independent parties and none of them on their own can make any decisions. If they cartel together or pull together, they have more than 50% and they can make the choices. And they're all centralized in China. Like there's 80% maybe of the miners are located in China in total. Like the first 4 biggest mining companies there have like maybe 50, maybe 56, something like that % of the total mining power. And that again is why it's sometimes called more centralized than both these currencies. And that's also why you'll always see discussions going on about which coin, even not only between XRP and Stellar, but between all these coins. There's always going to be debate about which coin is more decentralized. It is also interesting to note that Ripple tends to be a larger organization and has raised much more capital, something likely related to the difference in target audiences. By contrast, Stellar has a smaller yet highly experienced team and has not put as much of an emphasis on marketing as Ripple has. Overall, there are differences in goals, size of organization, inflationary versus deflationary nature of tokens, and their consensus protocols. Can they coexist? Well, definitely so. Again, we just said they have differences in goals, so why not? And in the end, we still don't know which one would win, right? They're going to have a little bit of a story here. We don't know. And we're talking about which one you should invest in, which is still completely open to you, as this is not financial advice. XLM and XRP have the least correlation with Bitcoin among the top 10 cryptocurrency list. It's pretty interesting, but this is talking about, of course, correlation between the coins. It's a nice little matrix here, pretty simple, or actually looks more like a table. Matrix table, it's actually kind of the same thing in this sense. It is showing you the differences or the correlation, so how they are exactly the opposite of differences. They're showing you exactly how they correlate to each other. I don't know if that's basic English or if it's difficult. If you went to school, you probably know what correlate means, right? I don't know what you learn in English, if it's a simple word or a difficult one. But yeah, you can see then that they have the lowest ones, 40% and 56% towards BTC there. XRP and XLM have a pretty high correlation. If you check for XRP with XLM, pretty high, which is definitely quite interesting to see as well. And the other way around as well, of course, because that is how it works. It is correlating, so both sides. Pretty interesting though. But this means that these coins' price moves independently of that of Bitcoin. So these coins also have a higher chance of decoupling. Decoupling, I think the word is for that, which is also pretty interesting to me. Because I'm always hoping that there's going to be one point at which these coins are just going to stop being dependent on Bitcoin. But for right now, Bitcoin still has a 66% dominance, so there's no chance. But maybe in the future, if we're lucky, it's going to occur. I think we just got to wait for it. I think we just got to have some faith and wait for it. XP Crypto Wolf here sent me a tweet. Fortune magazine interviews Brad Garlinghouse and why XRP is not a security. He said, "We're interested in the success of the XRP ledger. We own a lot of XRP. It's like how Exxon owns a lot of oil. That doesn't make oil a security. Oil is classified as a commodity." This is something he actually said before as well. I don't know if his exact example was with Exxon, or even if this interview was new, but he definitely said this before. He made a couple of these examples before to explain why XRP is not a security, even though they have a lot of it. So I understand it. I understand he has to dumb it down, like Nathan here says. He has to just break it down really easily because a lot of people don't understand or don't want to understand or want to take advantage of the situation. I just noticed this article. It's from a couple of months ago, but as I said before, guys, something huge about Stellar is rolled wire. Of course, that is IBM implemented on Stellar's blockchain. What it says here is that massive transaction of 1 billion XLM was spotted after IBM announced rolled wire launch. One thing I should mention though is that rolled wire launch or rolled wire doesn't necessarily use XLM and might not ever even do that, but it is built upon Stellar. Recently, IBM announced the launch of its Stellar-based payment system, rolled wire. Later on, reports came on Twitter regarding massive XLM transactions. These transferred total 1 million XLM each. So this was a long while ago, but that was definitely a lot of money being moved around. Definitely a lot going on right there. You can see here 1 billion XLM, $113 million transferred from unknown to unknown wallet. These large transactions are not fake. The transferred amount is being transferred in segments of 10 million XRP to the address below. It's not clear why it's being split up. And maybe at this date it's being cleared up, but I still do not know. Some people say it has to do with exchanges. Like here, we're seeing a little bit of Coinbase speculation back and forth. Some other people are talking about this all, but it's really quite interesting that, for example, WorldWire could do so much transferring, so much money transferring around the world that it really kind of changed the way we view Stellar if they were to use XLM. But in this case, they don't, so I guess it's not really worth waiting for or kind of sitting down for. Most of the articles here and most of the pretty important points we covered. I have like 10 more articles open here that say XLM versus XRP. Here it says Stellar and Ripple go head to head. Well, they've always gone that. In this case, they're also talking about the price. We also see on Quora here, Schwartz continued. Schwartz is the CTO at Ripple, and Jed, in this case, is the founder or co-founder of Stellar and of Ripple/XRP. Jed tried to dump his XRP quickly, and Ripple acted to stop him through a series of lawsuits. Thanks to Ripple's refusal, Jed's XRP will probably be worth more than $1 billion. He will probably be the only person to become a self-made billionaire despite his best efforts. Yeah, pretty interesting. Well, what it says right there is that, of course, Jed McCaleb, the founder, left Ripple a long time ago, 6 years ago, but he still had a lot of XRP. He tried to dump it, but they had an agreement now that he can only sell so much every single day. I don't even know how much it is, but he sells a lot of money right? He earns a lot of money, definitely, that's for sure. One thing I should also mention maybe is that XRP has a couple of lawsuits going on right now. One of the biggest lawsuits there is, of course, whether or not it is a security, and it's a very long battle. There's no answer, but it's a very long battle. All right, I've talked too much about the comparison here. You guys know it. You guys know which one to pick for which situation. They're both fine. Always. Is one going to win? Most likely not, or in a very long time, as Ripple might, become supreme, as Stellar is now for profit, and most of these people in the world are looking for profit. But on the contrary, Stellar has a little bit of a higher chance to succeed as well, because they're doing it not for profit, so like they have nothing to lose there. Ripple becomes the #1 crypto mentioned on Twitter. This is like always the case, right? As I said before, XLP and Ripple have a very strong community. It's only a 1-hour data report, but still, any cryptocurrency surpassing Bitcoin and CoinTrends reports, it is not that common. So what they're saying here is that for XRP to become more mentioned than Bitcoin, that's something huge. Normally, Tron used to always be like here, right? Like really quite up there, or sometimes even #1. Right now, Tron is really following the path of the downside. I don't know, but in terms of mentions, in terms of news and articles, they're lacking. I don't know what's going on there, but they are definitely lacking. Stellar XLM versus XRP. Research suggests that airdrops are no different than sell-offs. One difference you could also make is that XLM has some huge airdrops and XRP has some huge sell-offs by Ripple. In this case, Ripple is selling 1 billion XRP a month. Stellar is giving away tons of XLM every so often. I don't know how much they're going to be doing airdrops, but they're giving a lot of money away. Somebody states here that both of these things are the same, and in the end, again, it doesn't matter which one you pick. It's kind of funny that all the conclusions here are always like that it doesn't matter. The fun part about it is though, like, I could also not know which one to choose. I own both of these coins. I think I do own more XRP than XLM. That's just because I think there's actually better long-term potential for XRP. It's not really based upon any real data or any really tangible things. It's just kind of my mind. And I also definitely should not forget about XLM though, because in theory here, XLM is only 1.2 billion market cap. XRP is almost 12. So XRP is like 10 times of what Stellar is. So in the end, there's a lot more gains to be made if they ever were to become equal. And sometimes I view it like that. So then I, want to put some more money in XLM since they're so similar. But yeah, that's just my mind playing games with me, I guess. Stellar Lumens price citing upside recovery above 0.062. These price articles are pretty interesting to me because I've just been really struggling to kind of put a definite goal on the Stellar price or definite kind of path for them. I really don't know what to predict. I really don't know what's going to be happening. So I really check out these Stellar articles more than I do for some of the other coins. I don't know. It's just something that I'm really liking. I don't know. I think it's something that has to do with the past. I've just really enjoyed Stellar price analysis. I think I have not even checked out as many Bitcoin analysis as I have done for Stellar, which is definitely quite interesting. Stellar Lumens price analysis laying the groundwork for a mini run. Well, yeah, they took a mini run. They did so, and they did it pretty well. To end it off though, guys, the most important coin out of all, Vechain VET. Now, I don't want to go with you guys through every single partnership to discuss exactly what they do, but I do want to give you guys another little list and just kind of give you guys another opinion about Vechain, and maybe even kind of convince you guys that this is so much bigger than we're making it out to be, so much bigger than anybody could imagine, because this coin, this ain't no joke. This article is from the 1st of August 2018, but it is being updated as we can see right here. Table contents. We have some strategic partners with Vechain. Of course, for example, we have DNVGL. It says right here, how much revenue did they have each year? 2.4 billion. Is that really true? No, I think it's already higher. And also, if you look at the other numbers that they're putting out, DNVGL is huge. Another strategic partner that Vechain has is PricewaterhouseCoopers. Now you can just check it out again. Once more, you can see how much revenue this is. $40 billion here. PwC, no small company, no joking, definitely not. Another huge partnership they have is the NRRC, National Research Consulting Center. This is China. Again, a lot of these partnerships will be from China. In this case, the location says where they're kind of operating. This is from China and in China. But again, The size is just amazing. Yida China Holdings Limited. I don't know too much about this one, but I'm assuming it's also a great one. Real estate industry. BitOcean, we've talked about this so often. Asia. BitOcean provides ATMs around the world. And now we're going to look into some of the normal partnerships. Because, guys, look at this list. And at the end here, you're going to be kind of just amazed with the partnership they have. Like companies you know of and companies you see every single day, they have some partnerships with. China National Level Partnership. Direct Imported Goods Partnership. China Unicom. I don't know too much about this one. The idea is pretty obvious, and I actually know a lot about like the integration, but I don't know too much about the company itself. Like we've discussed the partnership here, which is of course a wine importer, and this one is of course like just China. I don't know what to say about this, but in the end, I don't know too much about DIG. It's just a government-owned wine importer. Yeah, I guess there's not too much to know about them, is there? We've covered this partnership, by the way, like over 50 times in my videos, I think. China Unicom, which is telecommunication. Köhne and Nagel. If you don't know this, look it up for a second, guys. This is insane. DB Schenker. This is also one of the biggest companies in the freaking world, man. Transport and logistics. BMW Group. Well, talk about a foreign, right? It's a car right there. But that's not just a car. They have tons of things. But yeah, they're working with Vechain. LVMH. You might not know what it is. Well, it's Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy. One of the hugest companies in the world. Insane. They have like Dom Perignon, Dior, Givenchy, I don't know how you pronounce it. Louis Vuitton, Marc Jacobs, Tag, Heuer, or whatever. Moet Hennessy. They have some of the most prestigious brands. Insane. Have a partnership with Vechain. Renault. Never seen a Renault on the streets before? Open your eyes, dude. Fangwan, huge, 40,000 customers plus financial services. Aitao Tauke, media company in China. Bright Foods, China, or Bright Food in this case. Still, though, this revenue, insane. Logsaver, never heard of that one before, but it's a partnership. Insurance platform with over 2,500 corporate clients. Shanghai Egret Consulting, never heard of that one before either, but it is looking good. 100 plus employees, $11 million revenue, professional services. No idea what it does, but it's there. Entity Docomo, we talked about this so many times, guys. Japan, $40 billion a year. Telecom, insane. PICC of China. Do I even... If you don't know PICC, something's wrong with you. $126 billion in assets. This is definitely one of the hugest partnerships you could ever imagine. BYD, same story. BYD is just huge. Automobile, of course. Some of these we've talked about so many times that I don't think it's worth even going to any second. I'm just showing you guys what companies they're working with and to see that the chances is like 99% that you know at least one of them. SBTG Surplus & Co. with sneakers. We've seen a lot more integrations with sneakers from Vechain in the last couple of months. ENN Energy Holdings Limited. I have no idea about this, but it's about clean energy and they have $10 billion in assets. Republic of Cyprus national level partnership. So they're working with Cyprus on a national level. Pretty amazing. Working with a couple of countries we can see. Fuji Marumo Tea. Food and beverage, of course, supply chain here. They're doing their work, putting in a lot of effort and taking it everywhere. Do I really have... Baijiteng IoT Technology Corporation. Never heard of that one before either, but food and beverage, so we know Vechain is definitely suited for that. BIOS Middle East. Managed cloud services in the Middle East. Pretty obvious what that is. Rebonds Holding Limited. Never heard of that one before. It's Asia Pacific in the e-commerce section. Of course, supply chain. We're talking about that. Logistics. It's all working together. Hire. Again, if you don't know this company or this partnership, where have you been? One of the hugest partnerships I've seen in a very long time. It was on April 1st, though, that I think this was first announced, which was a little bit of a joke. At least some people expected it to be a joke. But this is just a huge partnership, huge integration. So if you're interested, just pause it a little bit and check them out. Norway in a box, to a certain extent, pretty useless because this is not no big-ass partnership, at least how I would say it. But it's a pretty cool one and just some cool integration, I should say. And then last but not least, of course, Walmart China. Not just Walmart in the whole world, but Walmart China. All right, so it's still 450 out of the 11,000 global stores. But do not underestimate China, guys. That's a lot of partners. That's a lot of money. Whew, that was it for this video though, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed. I really hope you did. It's 30 minutes, so I definitely think we should end it off here. But hopefully you learned something new. If you did, make sure you let me know. I'll see you guys again in another crypto video. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description. See you guys again in another one.